it was a tough one last night for the Phils to swallow. They wound up losing game 1 4-1. Now tonight here at Citi Field, it's game number 2. And the pregame festivities included some of the fans looking for a free baseball and some of the fans looking for some of the fare here at Citi Field. It's game 2 between the Phils and the New York Mets. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. And tonight's open, we're going to talk about both starting pitchers. Tonight, we're going to begin with Jerome Williams, the starter for the Phils. He's been very good in his 3 starts in a Phils uniform.
Well, he really has. He's pitching with a lot of confidence. And the thing I noticed is almost every pitch he throws is down the zone. When he comes up in the zone, it's a purpose pitch. But the way he's been controlling his cutter, his changeups, as you see in his highlights, everything he throws is down the zone. Late movement with the cutter. Very good changeup, spotting his fastball. Now, when you can throw your fastball inside and back it up the changeup inside, hitters have a hard time to pick up the speed of the baseball. That's why he gets a lot of guys looking for pitches, backdoor cutters as well. But just he's pitching with a lot of confidence, using his fastball. 20% more fastball since he's been with the Philadelphia Phillies. And he's just pitching with a lot of confidence, and he's having great communication with his 2 pitchers.
Yeah, and Carlos Ruiz, who's catching him tonight, said the big thing is what you said, Matt, that he's keeping the ball down, and he's keeping it from the middle of the plate. That's why he's been successful, in particular, in his last 2 outings. What does his pitching coach think? Well, Greg Murphy had a chance to sit down with Bob McClure.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, Bob, Jerome Williams getting his 4th start in a Phillies uniform tonight here in New York. And I got to believe that he's been kind of a pleasant surprise for you guys so far.
You know, he really has, and I think a lot of that is due to some changes that he's had to make, either through necessity or just kind of the light coming on for him, you know.
You know, he has credited his catchers, both Carlos Ruiz and Will Nieves, since being in Philadelphia, being a big part of those changes that you're mentioning. How important is it that he feels comfortable with those guys and that they're able to call a good game for him?
Well, I think in my opinion, you know, besides the pitcher, but the catchers to me, you know, especially good ones that really understand hitters and how hitters' approaches are and their tendencies, is so important because you don't have to shake. You can work fast. And if there's one thing that hitters hate is pitchers working fast, you know, and it's something that we've talked to Kyle Kendrick over and over and over again about the same kind of thing. Well, Jerome has decided to work quickly, not shake, you know, very often, and just kind of keep the ball down, change speeds, and elevate on purpose when he wants to.
You mentioned changes, so what are those changes that he said that weren't working for him when he was pitching in Texas or Houston or wherever earlier this year?
Well, I think, you know, basically, I think he tried to power through a lot of hitters, where now, to me, he's looks a little bit like Livan Hernandez would look a little bit. You know, I would compare him to that. And if he can pitch with that kind of command that he's had, and hopefully will continue to do that, I think that he has a very bright future for the next 6 to 8 years.
You know, he's a very pleasant guy to be around. He kind of approaches his business a little bit differently than I think some other starting pitchers. He seems very loose on days that he's pitching and then very open and available for folks like us. Do you think that makes a difference in the way that when he takes it out to the mound that he's not pressing too much?
Well, yes, I do, and I think that comes with experience. I think he's comfortable in his own skin, which is really huge. You know, it takes a while in the big leagues to get real comfortable in who you are and what you do. And I think he's just coming into the part of his career where he really feels comfortable in what he's doing out there. So that, along with the catchers kind of leading him on through the hitters, I think is a great combination.
Comfort is always a good thing out on a big league mound. Bob, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Tom, let's send it back upstairs to you.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Well, we talked about Jerome Williams. Tonight he'll be opposed by Bartolo Colon, who's making his 26th start of the season and his 4th start against the Philadelphia Phillies. When we return, we'll get the under end of the spectrum, the other starting pitcher. We'll find out what the Phillies think of Bartolo Colon. Why have they had so much trouble trying to solve him here in 2014? Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phillies. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. To your left, Bartolo Colon to your right. We're at Citi Field here in New York. It's game 2 of this 3-game series. All right, Matt, we've watched Bartolo Colon 3 different times this year just mesmerize the Phillies hitters.
And really, he hasn't changed anything in any outing. What he does is he's a hitter reader. What he does, if you see a left-hander standing close to the home plate, they'll use that front door sinker. If you back up, he'll throw the sinker away. So he's been watching the hitters how you do it. But really, he's been doing it with the fastball. He throws over 75% fastballs. He spots them unbelievable. When he needs to make in a slider, he will, and he'll use occasional changeup right there with Ben Revere. But he's been a guy who's a strike thrower. He goes out, he challenges the hitters. He understands the strike zone. He knows how far to go off to get those little swings. And you can see the 3 times he's faced these guys this year with the Phillies, it has been unbelievable. And he throws strikes, and that's why you see only 4 walks in 3 innings.
Last outing, 107 pitches, 76 strikes. As you mentioned, he is indeed a strike thrower. So we're getting set for a little baseball here at Citi Field. You never know what they're getting set for on 6th Avenue in downtown Manhattan. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Had a couple of hits. It's been nice to see him swinging the bat a little bit better over the last few games. We'll see if it carries over here tonight. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. It'll be Revere, Rollins, and Utley followed by Ryan Howard, Marlon Byrd, and Dominic Brown. And the bottom third of Carlos Ruiz catching, Cody Ashley at third base, and Jerome Williams on the mound. And they'll face 41-year-old right-hander Bartolo Colon, who owns a lifetime record of 201 and 138. He's had a pretty good year, 12-10, with an earned run average of 3.82. And he's ready to go. The first pitch of the night to Ben Revere is off the outside corner, so we're underway.
Well, the scouting report on Bartolo Colon is the 86 to 92 mile an hour fastball. BP fastball, he'll get about 84 miles an hour. Change slider, has very good control. He's only got 22 walks this year and 167 in the third innings. Yeah,
5 of his last 6 outings, he's allowed 2 earned runs or less, including an outing against the Phillies. There's a soft chopper to shortstop. And Revere is retired, 1 away here in the first. Yeah, that'll bring Jimmy Rollins to the plate. Rollins was 0 for 4 in last night's ball game with a couple of groundouts. Bartolo 4 earned runs in now 23 innings of work against the Phillies. 17 strikeouts during that time. I don't think you could find a pitcher that has looked more comfortable in the outings against the Phillies this year. You know, it just seems like he's barely breaking a sweat in a lot of his games against the Phils this year.
Well, really, he hasn't changed nothing. He hasn't changed his routine. He has the game plan of what he wants to do. And unfortunately, the Phillies haven't made the adjustment to adjust to how he's doing with the fastballs and stuff. So really, why change? But I see Jimmy has, I'm sorry, Tom, Jimmy has the closed stance today. So that means he's looking for fastballs in.
Yeah, and Rollins, I know you were talking to him before the ball game today. I mean, he, in his mind, has an idea on what to do against Bartolo Colon.
Well, he says that front door sinker that he loves to throw to left-handers, you know, you're not taught how to hit that ball. You give up on it a lot. And that's why we talked about it so much with Kendrick and AJ and other pitchers. But he says if you back off the plate, he'll go the opposite. He'll throw the sinker away, low and away. So you got to pick one side or the other, but stay in the middle of the field.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Rollins with 1 out here in the first. And that one's off the end of the bat. The second baseman, Dilson Herrera, makes the catch. All right, with all that said, Matt, it's time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
Well, key number 1 tonight is for Jerome Williams to keep trusting his catchers. He's throwing down fastballs, sliders, whatever, throw it there. And you have to think the middle of the field on Colon. Because if you start thinking fastball, pulling-wise, he'll pull the string with that BP fastball. And that's why you get a lot of weak swings, either left side or right side. So think 370 to 390 in the gaps.
And that's the normal way you should approach a game, but in particular with him.
Correct.
Chase Utley, as we mentioned, 2 for 4 last night. Takes a fastball upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Colon in his last 7 outings, an ERA of 2.97. His last 3 starts, his earned run average is 1.71. That one's out towards center, and it should be an easy play for Lagares. So this is going to be a pretty quick inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Bartolo Colon. 9 pitches to retire the Phils in order. So Jerome Williams, start number 4, is upon us. Philly of the week has found success with his 8th major league team in the early stages since his arrival. Before landing on the mound in Philadelphia, Jerome Williams made 119 career starts, had an under 500 record, and an ERA in the mid-4s. The 32-year-old right-hander has changed his approach and is finding success in a Phillies uniform. In 20 1/3 innings, he's pitched to an ERA of 1.77, while opponents are hitting a feeble 183 against him. And his newfound success is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Oh, we mentioned this is start number 4 for Jerome Williams because of his success in his last 3 starts. That's why he is our Philly of the week. 2-0 with a 1.77 earned run average since he arrived. And he'll go to work against Juan Lagares, Curtis Granderson, and David Wright. And this is the scouting report that you kind of alluded to in the open, Matt, about what he features.
Yeah, and it's 88 to 92 mile an hour fastball. To me, he works quick. He has great chemistry with any. It doesn't matter who's catching, either Chooch or Nieves. But the biggest thing is he doesn't shake off. He trusts his stuff, and now I find that he's pitching instead of just throwing.
Chase Utley to his left, and he throws out Lagares. So a quick out here in the first. Well, here's the rest of the Mets lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Granderson and Wright will be followed by Lucas Duda, Travis d'Arnaud, and Matt Dendecker. Dilson Herrera, the rookie, making his 2nd start. Wilmer Flores at shortstop bats 8th. Batting 9th and pitching is Bartolo Colon, of course. Curtis Granderson 0 for 4 last night. He grounded out a couple different times. 16 home runs, 49 runs batted in. But it has been a real struggle since the All-Star break for Granderson. Granderson 2 for his last 23 overall, hitting under 170 since the All-Star break. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him. Just a little low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Tonight is Curtis Granderson bobblehead night at Citi Field. All fans coming to the ballpark tonight received the Granderson bobble. And he pulls that one, caught by a leaping Chase Utley. 2 outs. During the 2014 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. So now David Wright will be the batter against Jerome Williams. Wright is 0 for 2 lifetime. In fact, Wright and Granderson are the only Mets that have faced Jerome Williams during his career. Wright hitting .264, 8 home runs, 56 runs batted in. First pitch is just a little low. It's 1-0.
That last pitch to Granderson, it's a fastball that you think you're going to be able to crush, but it has that real late movement, and that's why you see a lot of balls go off the end of the bat.
Well, there's the cutter at 91 miles an hour.
And that's a true cutter right there. A lot of cutters are pretty big, but that one there cuts about 3 or 4 inches, and it's really late right there.
Yeah, and there's not much difference velocity-wise between the cutter and his normal fastball. A lot of times you'll see 3 or 4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour difference between a fastball and a cutter. For him, it's maybe 1 or 2 miles per hour. Inside, 2-2. Wright was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game. He scored the first run for the Mets. And he fights that one off to stay alive. It's 2-2. Wright, since the All-Star break, has 2 extra base hits. 8 home runs overall, 26 doubles overall. And he checks the swing. Did he go? No, this is the first base umpire. But that's a tough hold right there. It's 3-2. Pretty close. It looked like he went.
He swung. Would have been a double if he would have made contact.
Yeah, I think pretty close is the wrong way to describe that. And that one just misses outside, ball 4. The veteran Dana DeMuth is behind home plate. Ron Culp is over at first. Ed Hickox is at second, and Lance Barrett is around at third. Dana DeMuth, 58-year-old, who last year worked the World Series. Also worked the World Series in '93 between the Phillies and the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's Lucas Duda. He was 0 for 4 in last night's ball game. The Phillies have the overshift on against him. And that one's a little low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. There's the overshift on Duda. Nowhere near the same overshift that the Dodgers had on last night against the San Diego Padres, where they had 4 people, 3 infielders and an outfielder on the right side of the diamond. I believe that ball may have hit the bat. Dana DeMuth called something. Did he just call time? Is that what it was?
Well, yeah, the ball went in the dirt, so you have to get a new baseball.
Okay, so it was time. I thought he called a strike. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
The shift last night that Don Mattingly put in Dodger, I guess it was in San Diego.
Yeah.
I've never seen that shift before.
Well, Vin Scully was calling the game, and Vin Scully is the dean of broadcasters, of course, in Major League Baseball and all over. And he said, he goes, I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. 2 balls, 1 strike to Duda. Got a changeup outside. It's 3-1. Whereas Granderson and Wright have struggled since the All-Star break with power numbers. Duda's hit 12 home runs since the break. In fact, Duda's been one of the better power hitters in the National League, along with Giancarlo Stanton, since the All-Star break. Three balls, 1 strike. And he lofts that one out toward left center field. A long run for everyone, and Revere gets there as he just misses Dominic Brown. He called it at the last moment to get some extra space. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left for the Mets. A lot of ground for Ben Revere to cover on this fly ball off the bat of Lucas Duda. And at the last moment, he peeled right, and so did Dominic Brown. Pirates for 4 games. All 4 games are night games at Citizens Bank Park. On Wednesday the 10th, it's Cholesterol Awareness Night presented by AstraZeneca. Tickets can be purchased for all remaining home games by going to Phillies.com. We go to the top of the second, scoreless game. Ryan Howard leads it off, and Howard breaks his bat. It goes floating over the head of Bartolo Colon, and Wilmer Flores on the right side throws him out. That's 6-3 on the putout. 1 out. Marlon Byrd is coming up. Murph, if this lineup looks familiar, well, it should for Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah, you know, Tom, every once in a while in baseball, you hear about a different stat that kind of jumps out at you. And you're right. If you look at this lineup today, Ryne Sandberg has put this lineup out 16 times this season. Just 16 times, but that is the most in baseball. In other words, 1 through 8, playing the same position in the same spot in the batting order. 16 times for Ryne Sandberg with this lineup. No other team in baseball has put up a lineup the exact same, more than that this year. So that got us all thinking, because I think we all thought that was a little odd. And so we went back and looked back in history at some of the lineups in Phil's history. We went back to 2008, wondered how many times did Charlie Manuel throw out the same lineup in the year they won the World Series. How about only 19 times that year in 2008 did they go 1 through 8 with the same lineup? And in 2009, when they went to the World Series, 29 times, and that is the most that the Phils have ever done since expansion started. So it seems like it should be a lot more, but just 16 times this lineup has been together on the field in a game, and that is the most in baseball in this season, guys.
Yeah, and the part that you talked about, the 29 in 2009, I would have thought 10 years earlier that a team would have, within 10 years earlier, a team would have put out a lineup more than 29 times, the exact lineup more than 29 times.
It's so strange. And, you know, you would also think in a year like this year for the Phils that there would be another team in Major League Baseball, perhaps a team that's been more consistent, winning a little bit more, that would have the same lineup being trotted out there more than 16 times, but it hasn't happened this year.
Well, let's see if this 16th time can produce a victory for the Phils, as Marlon Byrd is behind 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bartolo Colon. And he lines that one sharply on 1 hop to Flores, who slipped a little bit but recovers. He had a 6-3 put out on the right side of the diamond, now a 6-3 put out on the left side of the diamond. And there are 2 outs.
It's funny, and Murph and myself and you and Scott and Larry, we're all talking about that. And, you know, so I thought, well, let's go back and look in the days when I played for Oakland. What was it, 6 times the whole year we had the exact same lineup? I was 6 times.
But you guys platooned a lot, didn't you? Or at least it seems like you platooned a lot.
Well, actually, back then, no. I mean, that's when we were getting over 500 at-bats. But it's amazing that 16 times.
Now, he could have had the same people. Was it Art Howe at the time? Is that who the manager was?
Correct.
He could have had the same people in the lineup, but in different spots.
Right.
Dominic Brown hits one out toward shallow left field. David Wright backpedaling and makes the one-handed grab just inside the left field line. Well, that, folks, is a 7-pitch inning for Bartolo Colon. 16 pitches to retire the Phils in the first 2 here tonight. And your chance to win a pair of lower level season tickets. That's right. It's your opportunity to do so right now. Just answer this week's poll question. Which opponent are you most eager to face? Then fill out the entry form at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/CSN Philly. Entry deadline is September 2nd. Jerome Williams, a lot of walk in the first inning, and now he'll face Travis d'Arnaud, Matt Dendecker, and Dilson Herrera here in the second. d'Arnaud had an RBI in last night's ball game. A ball that just barely went over the glove. Well, it tipped the glove of Jimmy Rollins at short. I said to Jimmy, I said, man, you got up there pretty high last night on that. And he said he thought he had it at the last moment. And he just barely missed it. There's a chopper toward Tim Tuffle in the third base coach's box. Show off. No balls and 1 strike.
He's played. Then he threw a seed in the stands.
Yes, he did. Off the hands, out towards second, and Chase Utley makes the grab.
That's the comment right there in the bench where he's saying the ball is not carrying to right field. That was jammed. He hit that off his knuckles. That just shows you, we talked about it, how his ball moves. Williams' baseball, his cutter and his sinker with late movement. You think you're going to square it up. It's inner half. You think, okay, I'm going to hit this ball really well. The next thing you know, it's right underneath your knuckles.
Well, I asked Carlos Ruiz about the approach for Jerome Williams. I said, how much did you look at his tendencies from his previous teams? And he said, honestly, I didn't look at them at all. He said, we went out and in the bullpen, we talked before his first start against the Angels. I caught him in the bullpen. I asked him what he liked to throw. And from there, I kind of just worked from what I saw and what he looked comfortable with. So I call a lot of fastballs because he's been able to keep it down in the zone, and the changeup has been able to stay down in the zone, and that keeps the hitters off balance.
Right.
Because he's throwing the changeup to the same spot as the fastball.
Right, and it's hard to pick up the arm motion, the speed of the ball. But going through with Bloomberg Sports today, I was looking at it, and the numbers that got me that I couldn't believe was versus the fastball alone. When he was with Houston, the league was hitting 320 versus him. Texas, the league was hitting 400. Now, since he's been here for 3 starts, $143 off the fastball.
Well, and Carlos said it's because he's down now with the fastball and it's not in the middle of the plate. That one's floated out toward left center field. That'll be in for a base hit. Dominic Brown cuts it off, and Dendecker will stop it first. So the first hit of the night for either team. It's a 1-out single by Matt Dendecker. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. I have to admit, I thought it was kind of interesting that Carlos hadn't seen the numbers. Not that he should have, but
right.
We see so many numbers.
Well, I guess we do.
But so I thought maybe he would look at them and say, all right, well, what's my scouting report for Jerome Williams? And he felt that it was better to just kind of see him and see what he thinks and work from there. Gauge it with his own eyes and not somebody else's. 1 ball, no strikes. Dilson Herrera, the rookie, 0 for 3 last night in his major league debut. That one's to shallow right field, playable for Marlon Byrd. And there are 2 outs. And that'll leave things for Wilmer Flores, the number 8 hitter.
You see Chooch set up away, and there it is again. Just the late movement, and I hope I repeat that about 15 times tonight. How guys are hitting the ball at the end of the bat or getting jammed, because it really shows the late movement and the life on the baseball.
Flores, a .224 hitter with 2 home runs. He takes a strike. It's 0-1. We can kind of say the same thing about both pitchers, really.
Yeah.
Although Jerome probably throws a little harder than Bartolo Colon on a consistent basis.
On the average, yes.
That one's pulled foul, 0-2.
Don't let Colon, don't fall asleep on him, because he can pop one about 94 miles an hour when he wants to. He just likes to save his energy.
But that's good, though, at his age, that he's able to do that, and then he can pump it up if he needs to. Flores was 1 for 2 in yesterday's game. And that just missed outside. 2-2, or I should say 1-2.
It's a good spot for that cutter. Very good.
That is a foul ball. Tom Goodwin is saying that he thought it was fair. Ron Kopel was right on it. It's not a reviewable play. So it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Foul ball. Good call.
Bounced before the bag, so it's where it crosses. If it does cross the bag in fair territory, that angle there showed it looked like it was in foul territory. A cue shot. There's a spinner. This could be a tough play. Utley's got it. Flips with his glove, and it's in time. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. That's a fine play by Chase Utley. He's done this more times during his career than we can count. We'll go to the 3rd. Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Matt, where did the Mets' Lucas Duda play college baseball? Where did Lucas Duda play college baseball? The answer will be revealed a little later on. Matt has written down his answer. And Carlos Ruiz will lead it off. Lucas Duda had himself a fine college career. There was a thought, though, after his freshman year that he was going to transfer from this school.
Didn't hit a lot of home runs there, though.
Howard came a little late.
If I have the answer right, I mean.
Yeah, well, I saw what you wrote down, so you do have the answer correct. Carlos 0 for his last 7, 259 hitter with 4 home runs, 22 runs batted in. That one's out toward right field. A lot of room behind Curtis Granderson, and a couple steps from the track makes the catch. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is John Mooney of Ben Salem. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Then John will win $200. No home runs in last night's game for the Phils or for the Mets. There's Cody Ashe. Ashe's 0 for 6 this year against Bartolo Colon. And that one's over for a strike. It's 0-1. That one's pulled to right field. Granderson scampers back toward the track. It's over its head. Off the base of the wall, and Ashe's going to pull into second base. And he's got a 1-out double. It's the first hit of the night for the Phillies. 19th double of the year. And it'll bring Jerome Williams up.
It's a nice short swing. That's the same pitcher we talked about, that front door sinker. The head down, just drops the barrel of the ball, the bat to the ball, and drives it off the left field, the right field wall. The previous pitch was a sinker inside. Came back to the exact same pitch. And what I liked is that the first pitch, Cody didn't flinch. Had a very good take on it.
Here's Jerome Williams, who takes a strike. It's 0-1. Taking a look at Pete Buchanan in the third base coach's box. 0 for 5 so far. He does have an RBI. His RBI came on a safety squeeze. He was pretty excited about that because it was his first RBI since his rookie year. And he remembered exactly how he picked up the RBI his first time. But it was a beautiful bunt that helped him in that victory his last time out. And he shoots that one the other way. Ashley will get to third on it. The ball pretty hard. 3 unassisted, 2 outs here in the third. The next homestand, when the Phillies take on the Pirates for 4, they'll follow it up with 3 games against the Miami Marlins. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 12th, 13th, and 14th. On Friday, all fans 15 and older will receive the knit hat, compliments of Cabrini College. Tickets can be purchased, as always, by going to Phillies.com. So here's Ben Revere with a chance to give the Phils the lead. Ben, with his ground out his last time against Cologne, is 5 for his last 13, or 5 for 13 against Bartolo. Second in the league in hitting behind Justin Morneau. So I asked him about, the foot, because he's always limping around, and we've seen him foul a ball off a few times. And I said, last night you fouled it off, and he went twice. I thought it was once, but twice. And he said he can feel it. Feel the injury that he sustained last year, which cost him the second half of the season. He said the foul balls hurt. He said, but when he takes a hard swing and turns his ankle, because sometimes he'll turn his ankle on the swing, he said that hurts even more than the foul ball.
Don't do it.
Well,
Stop swinging hard.
I couldn't tell him that. Yeah, you can tell him that.
And the time he takes the big swing, it's when it's 2-1, 3-1, when he's heading the count.
So balls and 2 strikes to Revere. And he fouls it away. See, like right there, look. He was limping a little bit more after that swing.
Yeah, that's because his spike got caught.
Said he has a sleeve that he wears on it. He doesn't wear it all the time because it is somewhat uncomfortable, but from time to time he will have a sleeve over that foot inside the spike that he has on. Inside, 1-2.
Now, is that because of the screw that's in there?
That it hurts?
Yeah.
Yes.
So once he gets that screw removed.
If he does.
I think you'd want to in the offseason, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know what the timetable would be, though, for rehab.
Good point.
But you're right. If it's bothering him, and if he can get through without it, you would think he would take it out. In the dirt, nice play by d'Arnaud, who hasn't been the best defender behind the plate, particularly over the last month or so. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Maybe that's the reason why they might move him to left field.
Still think that would be crazy to do. Yeah, he has 12 passed balls this year, and the pitchers have thrown 31 wild pitches while he's been behind the plate. Little dribbler in front of the mound. Cologne throws out Revere. Phillies leave one over at third. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We've played 2.5. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Cologne will lead things off for the Mets. McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's. I'm loving it. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com for your local dealer today. Bottom of the third, scoreless game. Empire State Building all lit up. On this Labor Day weekend, a little cloudy before the start of today's ball game. They don't expect any rain, but the cloud cover continued through twilight. Jerome Williams will face Bartolo Colon, Juan Lagares, and Curtis Granderson. Here in the bottom of the third, a scoreless game. Each team with one hit so far. No balls and one strike. I thought it was funny today. We talk about getting Bloomberg statistics, and we get certain hitters. We get their tendencies against pitchers. You know, we'll get Ben Revere every day. We'll get Marlon Byrd. We'll get Jimmy Rollins. And on the opposing team, we'll get David Wright. We'll get Curtis Granderson. Well, somebody had a sense of humor today because they gave us Bartolo Colon's tendencies. I mean, the man only has 2 hits. And he's down on strikes looking, so one away here in the third. And that'll bring Lagares to the plate.
That could have been the easiest strikeout someone's ever had.
He just stood there.
Yeah.
He didn't even look like he wanted to hit in that spot. Lagares takes a strike. It's 0-1. Lagares is 0 for 1. He grounded out to Utley his first time up. Lagares has hit in 6 of his last 7 games, and during that time 4 multi-hit games. He has certainly been a bright spot for the Mets, not only offensively but also defensively. All around baseball, there are a number of statistical categories that they have. The sabermetrics, as Lagares checks, and Ron Culpa says he didn't go. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. They talk about WAR and other defensive numbers, and Lagares is at the top of the list in many of those categories, if not leading many of those categories. As he waves at a changeup, and there are 2 outs here in the third.
There's that nice changeup down in the zone. There's a lot of fastballs from the cutter, which is the pitch you don't see. You never used to see a lot of changeups to right-handers from a right-handed pitcher, but you can see right there, you gear up for a fastball and down the zone.
Granderson swings at the first pitch, and a short hop for Ryan Howard. So an easy inning for Jerome Williams. Both pitchers have had a pretty easy ride so far through 3. That's an 8-pitch third inning for Jerome Williams. We'll go to the 4th. The Phils, like the Mets, looking for a little offense. Weatherproof labels from WB Mason are built to withstand the extreme elements. Trust Avery Labels with your most essential shipments. Who but WB Mason? 3 quick innings so far for both pitchers. Bartolo Colon, like Jerome Williams, has been kind of cruising. Colon has thrown just 30 pitches through the first 3 innings, 20 strikes. As Jimmy Rollins will lead things off. How about one of the fans last night? And I didn't realize this until after the ball game, but one of the fans last night yelled to Jimmy Rollins, "You ruined my childhood." Of course, with the 2007 comeback by the Phils and even the 2008 comeback by the Phils that led to the World Championship. First pitch is a strike. It's 0-1. Rollins popped out his first time up. And he fouls it back. It's 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jimmy now with 2,296 hits as he moves closer to 2,300 and beyond in that category. He pulls that one to right field. It's deep. Granderson going back. He's going to have room toward the fence. He reaches up and he makes the catch. He got all spun around but was still able to find the baseball and make the grab as his glove hit the top of that fence out in right field.
Jimmy puts a pretty good swing on it. He looks for the fence. Concentration. I mean, if anything, he coasted just a little bit when he looked back at the fence. But all in all, it was a nice play.
Yeah, Bartolo certainly liked it. It wouldn't have gone out. It probably would have hit just below that orange line. Would you agree with that, Matt?
I'm going to say lower part of the fence.
Lower? Okay. So 1 away here in the 4th. Here's Utley, who flied to center his first time up. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Utley's average at 281 after that fly out. 4 for his last 13. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Well, just as we said, both of these pitchers, Colon slightly more than Williams, but really both of these pitchers are throwing strikes here tonight. There's a high fly ball to right field. Playable for Granderson. Yeah, there are 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. Time now for our Mazda leaders. And Bartolo Colon finds himself 3rd behind Tim Hudson and CC Sabathia on the active career leaders wins list with 201. A.J. Burnett, who will start tomorrow, is at 154. And Mark Burley, if he can ever solve the New York Yankees, he'd be over 200 wins. But he's at 197. Sabathia, of course, done for the year for the Yankees. Hudson, of course, pitching for the Giants. 3 years ago, I don't think anybody would have expected Bartolo Colon to still be on that list. I mean, he was basically out of baseball. He was done. But over the last 3 years, his 2 seasons with the A's, as that one's flicked out toward left, Dendecker on the run over toward the track, and he makes the running grab. That's a fine play. A fine play to begin the inning for Granderson, a fine play to end the inning for Dendecker, and the Phillies are retired in order. Well, a lot of ground to cover here at Citi Field, and the corner outfielders are covering that ground as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Go further. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota, the annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Home half of the fourth inning here at Citi Field. Home of the New York Mets, just a few miles away from Yankee Stadium. The home of the Yankees. In fact, most routes that you take to this ballpark on the road, you've got to pass Yankee Stadium to get here to Citi Field. I shouldn't say most routes, just two. You go the Harlem River or the Major Deegan, you're going to pass Yankee Stadium. David Wright takes a strike. It's 0-1. Wright, his first time up, walks. And he fouls it back. It's 0-2. Little low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good location though, with that changeup down the zone like that.
Story goes that the Phillies were interested in signing Jerome Williams during the offseason. They decided to go with Roberto Hernandez. They signed Roberto for a little more than $4 million. Meanwhile, Jerome wound up signing with Houston for a little more than $2 million. Roberto was very good, I thought, for the Phils, particularly as the season moved on.
He was.
And Jerome in 3 starts, now 4, has been good for the Phils. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wright.
Here comes a cutter.
So that pitch was a setup pitch there?
Yep.
Boy, that was awfully close. He nearly had Wright offering at it, but he walks for the second time. Second walk overall. Oh, we are getting closer to Phillies fantasy camp. 5th, 2015, Murph in Clearwater, Florida. Package includes hotel accommodations, practice with and instruction from Murph's high school coach, Greg Lazinski, John Kruk, Mike Lieberthal, Mickey Morandini, Bob Boone, and the commish, Larry Anderson. For information, call 610-520-3400.
Is Bull allowed to cut me again?
I think if you go, you have to play for Bull.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be different than high school.
Right,
Great.
It'll be retribution for you.
Yes.
You'll be spraying hits all over the place.
Well, I do make the age cutoff, so I'm thinking about it.
Sharply to first. Howard touches the first base bag. Now they've got Wright in a rundown. And Wright got tied up with Jimmy Rollins for a moment, and Utley gets to him. No, he didn't get to him. Carlos Ruiz is pointing toward Dana DeMuth. Dana probably had a view to see if Utley did tag him. Ryan Sandberg is coming out. He'll talk to Ron Kulpa. This is a reviewable play. Now, if you're wondering if Wright went out of the baseline, he technically did not. He had 3 feet from where he established the baseline, and there you go. It looks like he did get him.
He's out.
So Ron Kulpa will confer with Ryan Sandberg right there. It looks like he got him right on the belts. At least that's our interpretation. Ron Kulpa was kind of running with the play. See, right there, he went out of the baseline, but I don't think he was beyond 3 feet left or right. That's where if you establish the baseline. See, there's the tag right there. That's a perfect view. The gloves move. The ball's obviously in his glove. So they'll review this one. The replay here at Citi Field is on the back side of the Phillies dugout. Most places it's on the inside of the third base dugout. This one's on the back side. So Ron Kulpa and Dana DeMuth will go over and they'll put the headphones on.
This could be a record one right here.
This could be quick because they've already reviewed it in New York. They've already started to review it based on the replays that we have and what the Mets have too.
Unless they decide to play that whole rundown, which took way too long and too many throws.
And here we go. Headphones are off, and he is
out.
You were right, Matt. It was kind of a record. So a double play. So the call is overturned. That's a 40-second review.
So that's a 3-6-3-5.
3-6-3-4.
There you go. 3-6-3-4.
2 outs. Carlos Ruiz pointed to Dana DeMuth immediately. Here's Travis d'Arnaud. But in the age of replay, I mean, they could have conferred, but it was just easier to go to replay. Travis d'Arnaud popped out to second his first time up, 0 for 1. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. The ball was hit hard by Duda. Ryan Howard did the right thing, so close to the bag, step on the bag, and then worry about getting the runner, in this case David Wright. Fly ball right field. Marlon Byrd, as it slices, out of play. Got a wide assortment of defensive plays tonight, Matt.
Yeah. Let's see some home runs though. Let me be Mason. Home runs are better to call. Of course, by the Phillies. I should put that.
I got you. I got you. 0-2 to d'Arnaud. And it remains 0-2. A little softer toss by Tim Tuffle this time. He wasn't as confident in his receiver. Well, that little guy looks like he could have handled it. Fly ball left center field. A lot of real estate for Ben Revere to settle under that one. And that'll do it for the Mets here in the 4th inning. Jerome Williams continues to pitch well in a Phil's uniform. Let's see if the Phils can get some offense for him when we come back in the top of the 5th. time for our cold hard fact, and let's go down to Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And it's about the Phillies-Mets series this year. The Phillies have lost 12 of 17 to the Mets this year. The 12 losses are the most in a single season since 1989, and they're closing in on a dubious franchise record of 13 losses is the most they've ever had to the Mets in a season. There you see it's happened 4 different times. And, you know, you really just have to look at the numbers between the Phillies and Mets in the 17 games this year to figure out why the Phils have struggled. In those 5 wins, you see 5 and 12, an average of just 2.24 for the Phils. Look at the starters' ERA, 4.81 as opposed to 2.84 for the Mets. And the Mets bullpen has been very good as well. They've also scored a lot more runs than the Phils in those 17 games. So really it has been kind of a clinic for the New York Mets against the Phils this year. For whatever reason, they've had their number.
Well, the Phillies are hoping to finish up this weekend with a couple of wins, Murph, to sort of neutralize those numbers, at least for a couple of days, and also get a chance to have a winning month.
Yeah.
They haven't had a winning month. Well, they were 14 and 14 in May of last year, but they haven't been above the 500 mark. As Bird sends one to right center field. This is well hit. Granderson on the run. It is gone. A solo home run for Marlon Bird the opposite way. It's a career high 25 home runs for Bird, and the Phillies lead it 1-0.
That'll help.
A lot of good things happened there. I wanted to talk about the home run by W.B. Mason. We got the rally Murph driving the ball to right center on a fastball. It's up in the zone, which is always nice to talk to Murph when he hit home runs. It's always nice to talk to Murph, period. But as you see this replay, once that fastball down, he actually threw it right to the glove. I mean, he did, and it was a good piece of hitting, getting the arms extended, driving it to right center.
Well, John Mooney of Ben Salem just won $200 thanks to the McDonald's home run jackpot and thanks to Marlon Bird. But what I was saying, guys, is that, you know, the Phillies have not had a month where they've been above 500 since September of 2012. It used to happen all the time for the Phils, obviously.
Yeah, actually, that's wrong.
I know they were 1-0 in March.
1-0 in March.
I was about to say that they were 1-0 this year in March, which is technically a winning month. But I wanted to put a little more substance to the games, Matt. 1-0 Phils here in the top of the 5th. That home run was the 18th allowed by Bartolo Colon. Off the end of the bat, and it's 2-2 to Dominic Brown. Dominic pinch hit in last night's ball game and hit into a double play. Made for a good conversation today, just from a baseball sense, just to understand what Ryan Sandberg and Larry Bowa were thinking in that spot. Because I know we talked about the other options that the Phillies had. They could have had Buchanan try to bunt and put 2 in scoring position with 2 outs. And Larry Bowa said, I would have thought about doing that, or we would have thought about doing that. And he said, you know, they talk about these things. He said it was a pretty quick conversation. If there was nobody out, Buchanan would have been up there to bunt. If there were 2 outs, Buchanan would have been up there to hit. With 1 out, they didn't have much against DeGrom. They felt like they might have him on the ropes a little bit. They had to go for it. And plus, you had a bullpen that in their thoughts was well rested. Swing and a miss. Brown is struck out. Well, time now for our Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Matt, where did the Mets' Lucas Duda play college baseball?
USC.
USC is correct. The University of Southern California. Where, as we mentioned, after his freshman year, he thought about transferring. And his head coach said, you know, just give me another year. Turned out that it was a successful year, and he wound up getting drafted. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. 1-0 pitch to Ruiz. Over to third. And right sails the throw, and Duda applies the tag. And that's a fine play right there by Lucas Duda.
You always get nervous when you see these type of plays with runners sliding into first base, but see he gets back and he just gets underneath it and it floats away, and Duda comes down and tags him on the shoulder.
And no argument at all from Ruiz. Here's Cody Ashley. He doubled his first time up, and he fouls it back. It's 0-1.
So how come you didn't ask me today how did I know about Duda?
I think I know the answer.
No, I read about him today, him and David Wright.
Oh, you did?
David Wright was going to go to Georgia Tech.
I knew that. Yep, he was going to go to Georgia Tech. So you read the story about Duda going to USC?
Yes.
Okay.
11 home runs.
Yeah, I thought you knew that because I thought we had a conversation about that in previous games, and your memory is unbelievable. You remember things. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cody Ashley. And he hits that toward left field. Dendecker on the run, slides. It's a foul ball. Thinks of Bartolo Colon. He does a good job changing speeds with his fastball. I think he's good at reading the hitter too, kind of like being a step ahead. I think that's why he survived so long in this game and done so well. He's tough. Well, it's been a renaissance the last 3 years. Last 3 years, he's 40 and 25. With a whip, a walk hit per innings pitched of 1.17. That's pretty good considering he was in the American League the last 2 years. Down and away.
It's safe to say there's one stat I will never understand.
What's that?
WAR. And I don't even want to talk.
You know, I would agree with you on that. I think it's difficult to explain. There's so much to it. As that one is hit softly to center field. Lagares got a great jump coming in. He's not going to get it. And he kicks it in front of him. So Cody Ashley is 2 for 2. And Jerome Williams will bat. I agree with you that WAR is difficult to explain. I think there's an importance to it. Wins above replacement.
Speaking of placement, that's perfect placement right there.
On a 3-2 pitch. And a dribbler foul, and it's 0-1. Jerome hit one sharply to Duda at first base. And his first time up, he's 0 for 1. 1-0 Phillies on an opposite field home run by Marlon Byrd, who now has a career high 25 home runs. To the right side, and Herrera gobbles it up. So the Phillies do get the 1 run on 2 base hits. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and thanks to Marlon Byrd's opposite field home run, the Phillies have taken the lead. And now Jerome Williams will go back to work on the mound, up 1-0. to you by Citizens Bank. The Philadelphia region has more than 100 colleges and universities. If you want to be a good citizen, an education is a great first step. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship. Well, speaking of one of those universities, last night, while the Phillies were playing Game 1 of the series here at Citi Field, Villanova was up at Syracuse playing the Syracuse Orange, and they took them to double overtime before Syracuse was able to hang on. But a great effort by Villanova to open the college football season. Phillies fans have found their spot. Been a number of them that were here yesterday, here today, probably be back again tomorrow. Matt Dendecker will lead things off for the Mets here in the bottom of the 5th. He singled his first time up. First pitch is outside. In fact, it was a good day for Philadelphia football, with Temple also opening the season, but they opened with a victory over Vanderbilt. Busy couple days, Matt, for college football here in the States. Players were glued to the sets today in the clubhouse. Oh, the seasons are changing. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Dendecker. And a bit high, 3-0. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, we look at some baseball scores. The Marlins lead the Braves 3-0. Donovan Solano has a home run for Miami. That game is in the 5th inning. As far as the division goes, Washington, their lead is at 6. They won last night over Seattle. How about they had 4 home runs against King Felix?
6 total in a ballpark where the ball does not carry.
He's never given up 4 home runs in an outing before. He's given up 3. He's never given up 4. In fact, his last 3 starts, he's been somewhat human. 0-2 with an ERA of over 5. To the right side, Chase Utley comes charging in. And Williams gets the first out here in the 5th. And that'll bring Dilson Herrera to the plate.
Well, that's just showing that confidence, having that confidence with that changeup of the 3-2 pitch. You know, the first 3 pitches he missed out of the zone with a fastball, came back to back fastballs, and came back with a very nice changeup at 84 miles an hour.
Well, I guess if you're Jerome Williams, and he's been pretty open about it, when he got here to Philadelphia, he knew that he didn't have a whole lot of success in Houston or Texas. Houston, he was a reliever. Texas, he was a starter. That he just entrusted in Bob McClure, Rod Nichols, and his catchers, and figured, you know what, it's a clean slate. I'm just going to do what they want me to do. And it's been successful, at least up to this point. 1 ball and 1 strike. I think in Bob talking to Murph before the ball game, one thing that really stood out is that he loves the pace that Jerome Williams has been on. You know, he hasn't been lingering out on the mound when he gets the ball. I mean, he's right back on the rubber, and then he's ready to go. And Murph, as any pitching coach will tell you, the pitcher is more effective that way, and his defense is more effective that way.
Yeah, you know, you think about Cliff Lee when you think about that kind of tempo, and the guys talking about getting a chance to play behind Cliff when he's dealing like that. And, you know, it's obviously just a lot more fun to play behind a guy like that because you're engaged all the time. But I thought Bob said something else interesting today. You know, he said that when Jerome arrived, they had a conversation, and Jerome kind of knew, you know, I've got to change some things because the things I have been doing have not been working, and that's why I've been on a couple of different teams this year. And then on his own, Jerome went about and changed those things. Well, I shouldn't say on his own, along with Carlos and Will Nieves. And they made those changes. And Bob has said, you know, at this point, he's really been able to kind of been hands-off with Jerome. He said, you know, if he feels like he starts heading in the wrong direction, he'll jump in there and you know, try to get him back on track. But right now, he's been hands-off with Jerome because he's going so well.
3-2 pitch to Herrera. Outside, ball 4, and Herrera draws the 3rd walk of the night. Issued by Jerome Williams. Well, David Buchanan has also taken the advice of Bob McClure and Rod Nichols and everybody else, Ray Burris down at AAA, about getting it and going, working fast and keeping that tempo alive.
And it just makes the job for the pitchers a lot easier when your catchers know the scouting report. They go over what they're going to do throughout the game, but they know when to throw fastballs, when to throw off speed, and it makes the pitchers just relax, go out there and get the grip, and they're on the same page.
No balls and 1 strike. Now Bob's not on the phone to the bullpen there. The bullpen phone is back behind the mound and it's not ringing, so he must be asking about some pitches, I would think. No balls and 1 strike. Ground ball toward the hole. Rollins will get to it, goes to second in time to get Herrera, so they get the lead runner. 6-4 on the put out, and there are 2 outs. And that brings Bartolo Colon to the plate. .71 pitches for Williams so far. By the way, Murph mentioned Cliff Lee. Today is Cliff Lee's birthday. We wish him a happy birthday. It's also Marlon Byrd's birthday. And Marlon celebrated with a solo home run, and as Bartolo Colon grounds one to shortstop, that home run by Marlon Byrd is the only run so far in this game. So as we go to the 6th inning, the Phillies up 1-0 over the Mets. '14 regular season at Citizens Bank Park will feature the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. The 26th, 27th, and 28th of September. The 28th, of course, Fan Appreciation Day. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. You can purchase them right now if you choose. Braves are sitting in 2nd place in the division, 6 games behind the Washington Nationals. They're also battling for the wild card. They're even basically right now with the St. Louis Cardinals. Jerome Williams just having a conversation with Carlos Ruiz in between innings. Jerome, who was a native of Hawaii, talked glowingly the other day about Shane Victorino and his impact on the youth in Hawaii. How impressed he has been with the way Shane has handled his fame and really given back to the kids in Hawaii. Shane is from Maui, and Jerome Williams is from Oahu. Ben Revere is 0 for 2, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Down the left field line, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. All right, nothing different, Matt, than we expected, right, from Cologne tonight?
Nope. I mean, 62 pitches, 43 strikes. There it is. I'm just going to add and subtract and use that front door sinker and mix in a changeup once in a while and the slider once in a while.
Yeah, we showed you the numbers before in his outings against the Phillies. 110 pitches, 121 pitches, and 107 pitches. And the 110 pitch game, he had 67 strikes. The 121 pitch game, 87 strikes. And the 107 pitch game, 76 strikes. And tonight, pretty much the same ratio. And that one's pulled into right field, a base hit. So Revere has his first hit of the series, and he's aboard to start the 6th. Coming up after this ball game, a full recap, plus Ricky Bottalico is going to break down the matchup between Williams and Cologne, only on Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live. It's coming up right after the game. A runner at first, Jimmy Rollins 0 for 2 will be the hitter. Rollins has popped out, and then he hit one to the fence in right field that Granderson was able to get to. Rollins trying to get Revere in a scoring position. And he bunts it foul. It's no balls and 1 strike. Actually, if Rollins bunted in that spot, there's a good chance he beats it out for a hit, because Wright was even with the bag. He's still even with the bag. And he's off the line over third. And this one is pulled into center field, a base hit. That'll get Revere to second base. So the Phils with back-to-back hits. And they have runners on first and second with nobody out. Actually, I guess it sounds strange to say that ball was pulled into center field, but it was to the right of second base. Good swing by Jimmy Rollins. Stayed up the middle, Matt, as you talked about during the keys to tonight's ball game.
On a pretty good pitch, which is a backdoor slider. If you try to pull it too much, you're going to hit a weak ground ball to second base or a roll over to first. That's what you have to do with Cologne. You got to think middle and just react like Cody did earlier with the fastball inside. Ben just did with a fastball inside. It's a reaction.
He is the Phil's leading hitter with runners in scoring position. He's got a chance to drive in a second run here tonight. And Utley shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Runs have been in a commodity against Bartolo Colon in his 4 starts against the Phils. Think he does it again here?
No.
Foul tip, 0-2. That one's back toward the middle. A base hit into center field. Revere will stop at third. That one was not hit as sharply as the first two, but it got the job done. The bases are loaded. And the batter will be Ryan Howard. I think that's part of the reason why Revere froze for a moment. Almost looked as if Colon had a chance to catch that ball back toward the middle.
Well, last thing you want to do is get doubled off and the line drive back towards the pitcher. As you're going to see right here, pitch well off the plate. Drives it back at the middle, and it almost looked like he was going to catch it. Ben did freeze, took one step back. Good base running. Knowing he can't score in that situation, gets to third base, and now you have the bases loaded with Ryan Howard up.
So bases loaded, nobody out. Dan Worthen's out to talk to Bartolo Colon. Howard is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to shortstop, and he's flied out to left. That's won last night's ball game 4-1. The Phils are trying to even up this series here tonight. Let's do a bullpen action. Buddy Carlisle is warming up, the right-hander. There is Carlisle. Save 50% and get MLB.com at-bat premium and its features for just $4.99. It's part of the Labor Day sale. Follow every Phillies game, radio broadcast, the MLB.TV game of the day, and much more. Download on the App Store. The sale ends soon. Visit Phillies.com/mobile today. That's a setup to try to turn 2 with Howard up and the bases loaded. And Howard lines it into right field, a base hit. Revere will score. Here comes Rollins heading home. The throw by Granderson, cut off by Duda. It's a 2-run single for Ryan Howard, and the Phillies lead it 3-0. RBIs 82 and 83 for Ryan Howard. And still nobody out with 4 straight hits for the Phillies.
Fastball, get up in front of it just a little bit, but drove it to right field. Good base running by Jimmy Rollins to score from second base, and I like the aggressiveness with Chase Utley going from first to third as well. But I also like the fact they got 4 straight hits.
Absolutely. Well, considering, as we said, coming into this ball game, they hadn't managed a whole lot against Bartolo Colon in his previous starts. And now Marlon Byrd, he drills the first pitch foul. It's 0-1. Utley's over at third. Howard's at first. 2 runs are in. Still nobody out. A chance to add another one here. Marlon, 37 years old as of today.
Amazing the way the outfielders are playing and leaving that huge
two.
I mean, this out here is just straight real estate area. Ball hit out there to the wall. Ryan might not be the quickest guy, but I think he'd score on a ball hit the left center.
So would you play Byrd straight away?
I would. I mean, just because he hit the home run to right field or right center doesn't really mean that he's going to be hitting the ball there every time. First and third, his situation, he wants to try to hit a ball, left center, right center to get the run in, of course.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Byrd. That's by the infield at double play depth. Breaking ball, waved at, and there's 1 out. Only the second strikeout for Bartolo Colon. And Dominic Brown will be the batter. Dominic struck out his first time, or his last time up. He's also popped to third. Dominic playing left field tonight. Grady Sizemore was in left field last night. Grady, of course, dropped that ball that led to the runs and of the eventual victory by the Mets. And he said there was no excuse. He said he just flat dropped it. Lights weren't a problem. Wind wasn't a problem. He had it sized up and he just missed it. And after the ball game, I mean, every player out here is competitive, but he was still pretty fired up about dropping that ball. One ball, one strike to Dominic Brown. Outside, 2-1. Well, those are the comparisons between his first 3 starts and what he's done here tonight. Two and 2 to Dominic. And Brown fights one off, loops it out toward right field. It'll drop for a base hit. Utley's coming home. Howard goes to second. It's 4-0 Phillies. An RBI single for Dominic Brown, his 57th RBI of the year. He stayed with that inside pitch and just fought it off.
And it's a good job of protecting the plate with 2 strikes. You got to stay back. It's a fastball inside. Even though he got jammed, he still stayed back and gave him a chance to keep that barrel through the zone. He does a nice job of fighting it off. And when you have a good approach, you might not sting it every time you swing, but when you have the good approach and the right approach, good things happen.
So 4 runs now at 8 hits for the Phils. Carlos Ruiz is the batter. And Carlos is 0 for 2. He's fly to right. He's grounded out to third. That one's out toward right center field. Granderson on the run. He's not going to get there. He takes it on a hop. Howard's being waved home. The throw goes to second base. An RBI single for Carlos Ruiz. It's 5-0 Phillies. And that may be it for Bartolo Colon. Buddy Carlisle's been warming up. Here comes Terry Collins. He'll signal to the pen. So Bartolo Colon, who really handled the Phillies in his previous starts against them this year, has given up 9 hits and 5 runs, and the runners on base are his responsibility. And Terry Collins will go to the bullpen. So a pitching change here in the top of the 6th inning. Phillies on top 5-0. We'll be back right after this. On store for the ride of your life and save big today. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Oh, one out here in the top of the sixth inning. The Phillies have scored 5 runs, and the Mets will go to a new pitcher. It's right-hander Buddy Carlisle. His 17th game. He's 1-1, an ERA of 1.27. On for Bartolo Colon. Well, Bartolo Colon, 3-0 against the Phillies coming in this year.
Is human.
Well, he had a good outing his last time out against the Dodgers. Then he went home. His mom passed away, so he went to the Dominican Republic for the funeral. They weren't sure if he was even going to start tonight, but he was back in time to get himself ready for tonight's outing. As Kodiashi fouls it back to the screen, it's 1-1. Runners on base are his responsibility, so can't finish his line just yet. As she fouls it down the left field line, and it's 1-2. So far, this is a good bounce back game for the Phils. They struggled with their offense in yesterday's game. That was partly because of Jacob deGrom and how well he pitched. But Marlon Byrd got the scoring started here tonight with a solo home run at his birthday. And now the Phils have added 4 more in this inning. Two balls, 2 strikes to Ashe. And that one's pulled into right field, a base hit, another RBI. This one off the bat of Kodiashi. On to third goes Carlos Ruiz. It's now 6-0 Phillies. And Ashe is 3 for 3 in this ball game. And again, good aggressive base running by Carlos Ruiz to keep things moving and getting over to third. Boy, some good swings tonight by Kodiashi.
He's seeing the ball well. He's letting the ball get deep. He's hitting it where the ball is pitched, but you made a great point. Tremendous base running so far this inning with the first and thirds.
That is a fair ball, and Darnell will throw Williams out. Up to second base goes Kodiashi. Now, I think if that ball had been bunted a little farther away from home plate, Ruiz would have thought about coming home in sort of a safety squeeze scenario. But the ball just wasn't bunted far enough away from the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. So you give a sacrifice to Williams to put Ashe up to second. And Ben Revere started the rally with a leadoff single here in the 6th. Will get a chance to bat again. Breaking ball, 0-1 to Revere. Revere is 1 for 3. Hitting .313 here in the month of August, and overall his batting average is at .308. Chopper right side, and Herrera waits on it. He better hurry. And he just throws out Revere. And the Phillies sent 10 men to the plate in the inning. Now they're able to explode for 5 runs here in the top of the 6th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. plays of the game. Walk us through all these spectacular, dazzling defensive plays.
Ben Revere makes a nice play in left center. Chase Utley with the underhand flip. Granderson, a nice play in right field.
To recover.
That's right. Dendeck with a nice running play on Howard in left field. Some inning back then. Then all of a sudden, the whole infield gets involved here with a 3-6, eventually 3-4 run down, which was a turn that we're here after a challenge review. Overturned. I don't think we have any more.
I think that's it.
That is the defensive plays of the game, brought to you by Hyundai.
All right, well, Jerome Williams, as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, he's been his own best defense here tonight. He's allowed only 1 hit. His team just erupted for 5 runs in their half of the 6th inning with a season-high 7 hits in the inning. And all 6 runs coming against Bartolo Colon. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lagares is 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's also struck out. All right, so that's what Carlos Ruiz was just talking about before the ball game. Fastball, inner half, strike.
Right.
Changeup, inner half. Now it just missed, but it was sort of in the same spot, and Lagares had given up on it. This is a sinker that he grounds to short, so 1 away. But what Carlos was saying about Williams was very basic, but it was very true.
Right. And I like the confidence level that Chute shows in that he can throw the fastball inside to a right-hander, back it up with the changeup inside. Because what happens is you see a fastball inside, and you might get beat on it, so now you think, okay, now we got to react in there. All of a sudden a changeup comes, and you get out in front of it and you hook it foul.
Here's Granderson. He's 0 for 2. And it's a strike, 0-1. Granderson's lined out to second softly. And he's also grounded out to first. This one is over the Phillies dugout and over Murph's head. And it's 0-2. Any chance if you had jumped on that chair you would have been able to catch that ball?
If I put some effort into it, perhaps.
Fly ball to left field. Watch Dominic Brown, Murph. Ready? All right.
Got it.
Okay. And there are 2 outs.
Murph, just make sure you use 2 hands, please.
That I would do. Jamie Moore is watching from somewhere, I know.
Well, 2 outs now for David Wright, who has walked twice. Wright walked in the first, walked in the fourth. Inside, that ball ran just a little bit. 1 ball, no strikes. The sinker cutter changeup combination has been, everything's been right around the strike zone. He's thrown all 3 to right. In that order, sinker, cutter, change. And a called strike 3. 1, 2, 3, shut down 6th inning for Jerome Williams. Boy, he is in total control right now. The 6-run lead certainly helps, but he's just pumping strikes. big sixth inning for the Phils. They scored 5 runs in the inning. It was a season high 7 hits for an inning. Overall, they have 10 hits. They lead at 6-0 as we go to the 7th. Marlon Byrd on his 37th birthday. It is a 25th home run. That's a career high. Jerome Williams has allowed 1 hit through 6 innings. He has walked 3 and struck out 3. And now as we go to the 7th, the new pitcher for the Mets, it's left-hander Dana Evelyn in his 28th ball game. Evelyn takes over for Buddy Carlisle, who went 2/3 of an inning. And he will face Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard. 22 strikeouts and 24 1/3 for Evelyn. Rollins is 1 for 3. He's hopped out, he's flied out, and he's singled and scored in the 6th inning. That one's hit sharply down the left field line. Den Decker's getting it to quickly, but Jimmy Rollins is going to get to second base. It's a leadoff double here in the 7th. Double number 21 on the year for Jimmy Rollins. And he's 2 for 4.
It's a good way to start the 7th inning. Be aggressive. First pitch fastball. Gets the ball down inside the line and third base and gets into second base for a stand-up double.
Yeah, David Wright generally against the right-handers is playing off the line even a little bit more than what you would normally do against right-handers. Now lefties it's understood, but right-handers he was off the line pretty comfortably. At least 1 for 3, singled his last time up. Popped him up left side of the infield. David Wright, the third baseman, dancing around. And he makes the catch. 1 out here in the 7th. And Ryan Howard's coming up. Howard with 2 RBIs tonight now has 83 on the season. You figure he can duplicate his August RBI totals, then 100 RBIs is well within reach for Ryan Howard. He's had a pretty high success rate against left-handed pitching when it comes to RBIs. Now he's had a lot of opportunities. In fact, he's still had more opportunities with runners in scoring position than anybody else in the league. But against lefties, he has 28 RBIs, which is most among National League hitters. Swing and a miss, 0-2. That base hit that he had in the 6th inning with a runner in scoring position was his 10th base hit with a runner in scoring position in his last 21 at-bats. And he tried to hold up. Did he go? Yes, as the third base umpire. So 2 outs here in the 7th. That's Lance Barrett over third. Marlon Byrd coming up. He's 1 for 3. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, Tom. Yeah, that one hit is a solo home run, and now Marlon Byrd leads the National League with 19 solo home runs this season. That's best in the National League. He trails only Houston's Chris Carter, Jose Bautista, and Mike Trout, who have 20 in all of baseball. But 19 solo home runs out of his 25 home runs this year. Certainly, he would wish that there's some guys on base when he's hitting those, but 19 solo home runs, still pretty impressive.
Well, it is, and I don't know if you guys saw Jose Bautista's home run today. He's hit a home run in 4 consecutive games. It was a missile. I mean, it was a shot. They beat the Yankees 2-0 up in Toronto. And intentional walk for Marlon Byrd will put runners on first and second for the Phillies here in the 7th inning.
Speaking of home runs, did you see Napoli's home run?
I did
The
not.
other day in Toronto?
No.
Fifth deck.
Really? Is that Mark? Who hit balls up the Canseco territory? Is that Jose Canseco?
McGuire, Ramirez.
Well, Dominic Brown 1 for 3 and RBI singles last time up. Also scored a run in the 6th inning. Slider in there, 0-1. Well, Marlins got a chance to hit 30 home runs this year. 25, as we mentioned, which is a career high, but he's able to hit 30 home runs at his first year back with the Phillies. That's a pretty sweet accomplishment for a power hitter.
It is.
No balls, 2 strikes to Brown.
Especially when you get 25, now you get a little greedy. Now you want 30.
Considering he's 37 today, you know, career high last year of 24. Now he's changed that with 25 this year. His power's gotten a little bit better with age.
And he's learned how to elevate the baseball. You sit there and you watch the games and you sit on certain pitches. You know, I don't think there's a pitch that Marlon Byrd does not like to swing at. He's a free swinger at baseballs, and that's why he strikes out a lot. But when the pitcher makes a mistake, his ability to hit the home runs to left field, center field, and right field makes him stay on the ball a little longer and use that short swing. And it helps when you're strong as an ox.
Oh, he is strong. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brown with runners on first and second here in the top of the 7th. Got him with a breaking ball. He showed a pretty good breaking pitch in this inning. Got a couple strikeouts. Phillies lead 2. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 men left. It's time to stretch here at Citi Field with the Phillies on top 6-0. He's on top 6-0. And as we promised you earlier in the ball game, we have our AT&T fan photo of the game. This photo is coming from L. Wister 16. And L. Wister and B_Wolf 24 on the Fanavision at Citizens Bank Park. Tweet your photo to hashtag Philly Fan Photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. It's a mix between startled and exuberant. As Lucas Duda fouls the first pitch back, it's 0-1. Duda hit into a double play his last time up. Breaking ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Just a bit low. It's 2-1. 86 pitches for Jerome Williams. There's some stretching going on in the Phillies bullpen, but no real reason for concern at all. I mean, he has been in control. He's allowed just 1 hit so far. Three balls, 1 strike. How about the last 2 outings? It's the first time in his career that he's got at least 7 innings and has allowed 1 earned run or less in each outing. That's a broken bat fly ball out to center field. Revere's going to play it on 1 hop. So a leadoff single. That's just the 2nd hit of the evening for the Mets. And they'll bring Travis d'Arnaud to the plate. Pitches by inning for Williams. And the single-digit 3rd when he threw just 9 pitches. d'Arnaud is 0 for 2. He's popped out and he's flied out. I think the way Williams has thrown tonight, A.J. Burnett should have a pretty good game plan tomorrow against the New York Mets. Inside, 1-0. He wants to finish this inning. He's got that sort of frustrated look on his face that he fell behind Duda and now he's fallen behind d'Arnaud. He comes back with a cutter and it's fouled off. It's 1-1.
Ryan, and especially the first pitch, as you see AJ, who's going to be pitching tomorrow's game, is that he was a little too quick coming to home. That's why the ball was up and away.
Fly ball to right field. This may settle him down a little bit. He'll get the first out of the inning as Bird corrals it and Duda goes back to first. On Sunday, September 14th, the Phillies will take on the Miami Marlins at Citizens Bank Park, and a great new item, the Fanatic Oyo. It's the mini figurine and buildable dugout set. That's for fans 14 and under. It's compliments of the New Jersey Education Association. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. That is the front and back of the Oyo. You just get the one piece with the Fanatic. Dendecker is 1 for 2. And he fouls it off. It's 0-1. Got all these names that begin with a lowercase d. Dendecker, d'Arnaud, DeGrom. Two to Dendecker. One just missed a little high. A win tonight. We mentioned the Phillies could clinch their first winning month. Not only that, they would move to 500 in the second half of the season. They're 19-20 since the All-Star break. Change up inside, 2-2. Dustin DeFreitas is warming up in the bullpen. And that one's going to float out to right center field. It'll be in for a base hit. Duda's going to stop at second, so Dendecker and Duda are aboard with one out here in the 7th inning. And Herrera, who is 0 for 1 with a walk, is due up, and he'll bat for the Mets. Bob McClure is thinking about coming out. Well, this might be one of those points where he talked to Murph earlier about where he kind of gets him back to where he needs to be. I mean, 96 pitches, you would think he's probably tiring somewhat, but is still able to get more pitches out of him.
It's a good time for a visit. He's giving him a little break, a little breather. He was up in the zone with Duda and Dendecker. Both balls were up in the zone, so you can see he's not too worried about it. Having a little giggle on the mound.
Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3, which Williams has done twice tonight. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. All right, so the Mets have 2 on with 1 out. It's the first time tonight they've had 2 base runners on against Jerome Williams. DeFreitas is warming in the pen. So is Bastardo now. It'll be Herrera, then Wilmer Flores here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Herrera takes a cutter, first strike. It's 0-1. There's Bastardo, who just joined DeFreitas out in the bullpen. Over toward the hole, a base hit into left field. It's Herrera's first major league hit. They'll hold Duda at third, so the bases are now loaded for the Mets here in the bottom of the 7th inning. What do you think, Matt? One more batter, or do you think they're going to make a change here?
Probably make a change.
Yeah, here comes Ryan Sandberg. So not a double switch. He had the lineup card out for a moment. He's going to go to the mound, and that's going to be it for Jerome Williams. They've got the righty and the lefty warming up, as they just announced that Dilson Herrera's first major league hit was that base hit to left field. So they'll keep the baseball. He gets congratulated by Dendecker, who comes over to give him a high five. So Williams will check out. DeFreitas will come in. We've got a pitching change here in the 7th inning with the bases loaded for the Mets. And can quiet the Mets offense. They have the bases loaded and 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And he'll give way to Justin DeFreitas after 6 of the 3rd and 4 hits. DeFreitas pitched in last night's ball game and comes into this game with a 2-1 record, an ERA of 2.70. DeFreitas did throw the right pitch at the right time in last night's game. That was the ball that Grady Sizemore dropped in left field. It led to the runs for the Mets. So Wilmer Flores, the batter, with the bases loaded. The Phillies will set up to try to turn two. They'll try to get an out here. And Flores takes a fastball. It's 0-1. Freitas fastball slider, and his slider is a good one. Swing and a miss. 92 on that fastball with some late movement, and it's 0-2. Kirk Neuenhuis is out of the on-deck circle for the Mets to pinch hit. Dice-K is the righty on the right side. Torres is the righty on the left side. Terry Collins waiting to see what happens in this inning here. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Flores. Right side. Utley can't get it a base hit. 1 run is in. The holds. Dendecker at third. So it's a 6-1 ball game. An RBI single for Flores. And the bases remain loaded. And Neuenhuis will be the hitter. He'll be the pinch hitter. The Phillies again will try to set up just to get it out. Maybe set up turn 2 here with a 5-run lead. Freitas did work ahead of the first hitter, Wilmer Flores. Flores some credit though. He went after a pitch that was down and away, and he sort of just fed it to the right side. Two. All right, so he's worked ahead again. No balls and 2 strikes. This time to Neuenhuis.
See if we can get that good slider that Freitas has down and in. Try to get a strikeout right here and stop the bleeding with all the singles.
Yeah, you've got the leadoff hitter Lagares in the on-deck circle. And the 0-2 pitch. Boy, he came back with a changeup, and it's 1-2. Not a bad pitch. Not a bad spot either. Give Neuenhuis credit. He got that slider down and in, and he laid off. Neuenhuis is a .240 hitter. He's got a couple home runs, 12 runs batted in. Spent some time down in the minor leagues this year. Swing and a miss. He got him. Slowed it up just a little bit, and he was out over top of it. Yeah, there are 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and Lagares will be the batter. There you figure Lagares, the right-hander, against Freitas. Then if they get to Granderson, they go to Bastardo.
Yeah, that's a very good location. That slider, back-to-back pitches with the slider. Took the last pitch, and that one there swung over top of a very nice slider down and in.
Lagares is 0 for 3 tonight. He's grounded out twice, once to second, once to short. And he also struck out. That was back in the third. Fastball upstairs, 1-0. Decker's at third. Herrera's at second. And Flores around at first. It's 3 balls and no strikes to Lagares. Granderson waits on deck. Phillies were up 6-0. Now it's 6-1 here in the 7th. And there's ball 4. It gets away from Ruiz. It's not going to matter. It'll force in a run. It's a 6-2 game, and it means the tying run is coming to the plate for the Mets here in the 7th inning. So Sandberg will go out and bring in Bastardo to face Granderson. So Bastardo's going to come in with the bases loaded. 2 runs have scored. So 2 inherited runners score. Those 2 runs charged to the line of Jerome Williams. So another pitching change for the Phils. Getting a little dicey with the bases loaded here at the bottom of the 7th. Batting title. Plus, Cole Hamels talks about his Denim and Diamonds charity event and a salute to the Taney Dragons on Phillies Clubhouse, presented by Mercedes-Benz on Comcast Sportsnet. Oh, here at Citi Field, the bases are loaded for the Mets. It's a 6-2 ball game. The Phillies on top, and Antonio Bastardo will come on to face Curtis Granderson, lefty on lefty. All right, so Jerome Williams goes 6 1/3, allows 4 hits. He's responsible for the runner over third base right now. The other 2 runners are the responsibility of Justin DeFreitas. 2 runs have been charged to the line of Williams, who started this inning, but is going to need some help from his bullpen. So Bastardo, so far against the Mets, an ERA of 7.36 this year. This will be his 9th ball game against New York. And he's about to finish up his warm-up tosses. Kenny Giles loosening up right now. don't know if Giles is loosening up for David Wright, or they're hoping to hold him until the 8th inning. It's probably either one of the two. They're hoping that Bastardo gets Granderson, but if he doesn't, then they probably won't be afraid to go to Kenny Giles. Granderson has always been a good hitter with the bases loaded. Now you see his numbers, 319. 0 for 3 tonight overall. He's got Herrera, who picked up his first major league hit over at third, Flores at second, and Lagares at first. Well, the Phillies need a pick-me-up right now, and they need it from Bastardo. On the inside corner with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 0-1.
Almost looked like Granderson was sitting slider that.
He may have been. Yep. Let's see what they counter with here. It looks like they're setting up for a slider, and it was a slider. It's 0-2. All right, now Bastardo can go a couple different ways. See the inherited runners stranded by Bastardo. Such an important number for relief pitchers who aren't closers, those setup guys. Yeah, the 0-2 pitch. Out of the way, went back with a fastball. It remains 0-2.
Watching Juan Samuel starting to move Ben Revere more towards left center. He's in the pull side early.
He's been late on these last two fastballs, trying to protect it. Remains 0-2. Got the overshift on for Granderson, so Herrera can take as long a lead as he would like over third, because Ashe's out toward the shortstop position. Swing and a miss. He got it with a breaking ball. So Bastardo comes on, and he puts the fire out here in the 7th inning. 2-run score, but the Mets leave them loaded as we go to the 8th inning. Valley Honda dealer or shop Honda.com. By the Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Well, Matt, it got a little interesting there in the bottom of the 7th inning. Give credit to Bastardo. Bastardo threw an excellent slider to get Curtis Granderson to wrap up that 7th inning.
Well, the key was the first pitch of getting ahead with the 92-mile-an-hour fastball. They're coming back with a very nice slider down the zone. And even if he makes contact with that, he's not really going to be able to drive it anywhere. So good execution of that pitch right there.
Kirk Neuenhuis will stay in the ball game and play right field for the New York Mets. And Daisuke Matsuzaka is the new pitcher. Matsuzaka 3-3, a 4.20 ERA. This is his 30th game. Most of those games have come out of the bullpen this year. And he will face the bottom of the order, Ruiz, Ashe, and then the pitcher spot. It'll be a pinch hitter, you would think, for Antonio Bastardo. Here at the top of the 8th inning. Phillies trying to even up this series. And go into tomorrow's series finale with a chance to win another series. Carlos Ruiz is 1 for 3, singled in the 6th inning, and drove in a run. There's A.J. Burnett, who will start tomorrow's ball game. Coming off really his best outing in a couple months, his last time out. Said he fixed a couple things during his bullpen session that he noticed. See if it carries over again to another start tomorrow. Carlos takes a breaking ball, and it's 0-1. Be out of play, and it's 0-2. Daisuke is kind of the opposite of what Jerome Williams was tonight, and even what David Buchanan was last night, and Bartolo Colon for that matter. He's fairly deliberate when it comes to pitching.
Fairly?
Well, he's faster than he was last year, but he is deliberate. Part of that is that hesitation in his motion. That one's pulled down the left field line by Carlos Ruiz. It's going to the corner. Dendecker can't cut it off. Carlos will coast into second base with his 22nd double of the year. Nice way to start the 8th inning for the Phillies. And that'll bring Cody Ashe to the plate. Murph, we're expecting a little rally here while you give us your Major League Notebook.
Well, I'll do my best. It's brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy University, and the Chicago White Sox and Detroit Tigers sent their aces to the hill today. Chris Sale, Max Scherzer doing the honors, and it was Sale who came out on top. Now, Detroit would score 3 runs on their first 3 hits of the game in the first inning, but after that, Sale was able to shut him down. He ended up striking out 13 in that game, and the White Sox won that 6-3. And Craig Kimbrell got save number 40 last night of the season. It is the 4th consecutive season that he got 40-plus saves. He becomes just the 3rd major leaguer ever to do that. Trevor Hoffman did it twice. Francisco Rodriguez has done it 1 time, and he has done it. And he also adds to his record. He was the first player to ever get 40-plus saves in 3 of his first 3 seasons, and now he has it in his first 4 seasons as well. So pretty impressive by Craig Kimbrell. And I will ask you this, Tom. Do you know what today's date in Phillies history is? Do you know that? By any chance?
Today's date in Phillies history. Well, there's a couple of things that come to mind. Was it a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing.
Oh, okay. I don't know what it is then.
Well, it's that guy to your, what is it, to your right?
He is to my right.
That's the day Matt Stairs joined the franchise.
Oh, Matt, welcome.
Thank you.
Ashe is struck out. We were in Chicago when that happened. Where were you?
I was in Tampa Bay in Lingo.
In limbo?
In lingo. Yeah. What did I say? Lingo?
You were in lingo. We understood the lingo, though.
Yeah.
Now, that's all she wrote. Then history was made. A little more than a month later.
Let the celebration begin.
Here's Grady Sizemore to pinch hit. By the way, Murph was talking about Kimbrell and how an amazing feat that is to join Trevor Hoffman and Francisco Rodriguez. You realize that his save rate is just below 91%. I mean, it's just incredible to sustain that for as long as he's been able to sustain it.
Well, he definitely has a good arm, that's for sure.
Grady Sizemore, 305 hitter. Got a Phillies uniform. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Just a bit outside. It's 2-1. Mentioned that Sizemore, after making that error last night, he stood up and met with the media after the ball game. Did not make any excuses whatsoever. On the flip side, Terry Collins said that the Mets, and I'm paraphrasing, were shocked when Sizemore dropped that ball. He said, "You just didn't expect it from me." He said, "But we were certainly celebrating in the dugout when it happened." Larry Bowa was saying today, he was just talking about Sizemore. He said, you know, there have been guys during the course of baseball that make errors in the outfield, and you're sitting there thinking, man, if they worked even a little bit harder, they wouldn't have as many issues as they have. He said, not Sizemore. He said, he's come to Philadelphia, and he has worked every day to not only get healthier, because he sustained so many injuries during his career, but he's worked on his defense, not only in left field and center field, of course, that's his natural position, but in right field as well. It's one of those things, he goes, it happens in baseball. Three balls, 2 strikes to Sizemore.
But when it happens, man, it is a bad feeling. Go ahead, turn the page and get ready for the next one.
There's ball 4, so that'll put runners on first and second here in the 8th. And back to the top of the order for Ben Revere. Revere has hit in 4 at-bats here tonight. He just does not have command of that breaking ball right now. He's been trying to get it over for strikes, and that one was outside, the same as the 2 of those pitches to Grady Sizemore. One ball, no strikes. Out of play, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. By the way, Justin Morneau is not playing tonight for the Colorado Rockies. If you're thinking about the race for the National League batting title, there's still plenty of games left to be played. Rockies have jumped out to a 1-0 lead over Arizona. That game's in the 6th inning. Fastball outside, 2-1.
Harrison, is that his name for Pittsburgh?
Josh Harrison,
Josh Harrison. He jumped into the race, hitting 308 going into tonight's game.
You know, he's had himself, I mean, he's had a very good season. A super utility guy that's, well, the Pirates have said they don't know where they'd be without him. Inside, 3-1. And what play began tonight. Morneau was at the top at 311. Harrison and Revere tied at 308. And then Andrew McCutchen, another Pirate, was at 305. 3-2 to Revere. Oh, there it was. One of those swings that he just very slowly gets back into the box.
And if you notice, it's always on a foul ball. So I guess stop hitting them foul.
Back toward the middle. That might be 2. Herrera flips quickly to second for 1. Really, the only way you're going to double up Ben Revere is to hit it sharply if you're Revere and hit it close to that second base bag. 4-6-3. Phillies leave 1. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Phils up by 4. Lead this one 6-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies had a very big 6th inning where they scored 5 runs on 7 base hits. Ryan Howard had 2 runs batted in that inning. Marlon Burns homered on his 37th birthday. So the Phils have the lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And the only change for the Phillies is that Ken Giles is on the pitch. Giles will face David Wright, Lucas Duda, and Travis d'Arnaud. 33rd game for Giles. 48 strikeouts in 33 2/3 innings. Giles does not have enough innings to qualify for the any kind of ERA status, whether it be rookies or overall. But he's had himself a heck of a rookie year. I think it's safe to say, well, I guess it's not safe to say, but I would think Billy Hamilton is going to win the National League Rookie of the Year award. He's hitting .268. He has 46 runs batted in. He's got 70 runs scored, 131 hits. He has 53 stolen bases as a rookie. I mean, there's a couple other guys that you could put into the conversation, but I think Hamilton will wind up winning it. 25 doubles. Jacob deGrom, from a pitching standpoint, he has certainly shown that he's no fluke, at least at this point, with 7 wins and a 2.94 ERA. 0-1 to right is fouled away. It's 0-2. But I wonder if Giles was here the whole year. I think it was, he's shown the ability to adapt. I wonder if he was here the whole year, if he would be given some consideration. He wouldn't win it, but some consideration. No balls at 2 strikes to David Wright. And a fastball just a bit outside. So hard for a reliever if you're not a closer
I was trying to think when the last time a National League or a Rookie of the Year guy for National League or American League won as a reliever.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Inside. Tell you though, Billy Hamilton has had a good year. His first season in the big leagues after some magical years in the minors. And there's just a little heat at 98 from Giles to strike out right. 1 gone here in the 8th inning. The last guy to win a Rookie of the Year as a reliever was Craig Kimbrell.
It's because he throws 98 just like that
That's
fastball
exactly
right there.
right. He won it in 2011. Your question could probably be who won it before him as a reliever. Not too many guys have picked up the award as a relief pitcher. But Kimbrell won it in 2011. Jose Fernandez, of course, a pitcher, won it last year. No balls, 1 strike to Lucas Duda. That one's hit well out toward left field. Dominic Brown has room. Couple steps from the track, puts it away. 2 outs. Down toward the handle just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. One of those ones, instead of squaring it up, it just kind of slipped off a little bit of the barrel, not hitting it square. I'm sorry, Tom. It'd be interesting to see, though, and I always look forward to September to see how the rookies bounce back or how they're going to do, because they're in basically they never played this far into a game before in the season.
Yeah, you also wonder for some of them if they're in the race. Now, Billy Hamilton's Reds were in the race for a while in the Central. They're 8.5 games out now. There's a floater out toward shallow left, and an easy inning for Kenny Giles as Jimmy Rollins takes care of that fly ball. So we've completed our first 8 innings. We'll go to the 9th inning with the Phils on top 6-2 here in game 2. All fans 15 and older will receive the Phillies knit hat. Compliments of Cabrini College. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. That's the next homestand for the Phillies. They'll have 4 against the Pirates and then 3 against the Marlins. Top of the 9th inning, Ryan Sandberg's team's on top 6-2. This game was moving along through 4. Both starting pitchers tonight, Jerome Williams, Bartolo Colon, were in command through 4. Marlon Byrd's home run in the 5th inning, his solo home run, made it 1-0 against Colon, but then the Phillies put up a 5 spot against Colon in the 6th. And now they lead it 6-2 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. It'll be Rollins, Utley, and Howard against Daisuke Matsuzaka. Rollins is 2 for 4 in this ball game. He popped out, flied out, singled and scored in the 6th inning, doubled in the 7th. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. Cologne wound up going 5 1/3, 6 earned runs, 9 hits tonight for the Mets. Then Buddy Carlisle, and then Dana Evelyn, and then Daisuke started the 8th inning. And now the 1-1 pitch to Rollins. Up high, 2-1. Down and away. It's 3-1. Phillies will wrap up this series tomorrow. A.J. Burnett against Dylan G. will be on the air at 1 o'clock. The big Sunday show will precede Phillies baseball tomorrow. And Rollins now has it full, 3-2.
Nice play.
Up here at the second level where we are, just to our left.
Good thing he caught it, because it would have drilled him right in the chest.
Well, that happens. Crowd of a little more than 28,000 on hand tonight. And there's ball 4. So Rollins walks. And that is walk number 62 on the season for Jimmy Rollins. Now that ties his career high. He walked 62 times in 2012. Jonathan Papelbon in the bullpen. He last worked on the 26th against Washington. This is not a save situation, even if the score remains 6-2, but get him some work. Rollins goes, pitch is taken for a strike, and no throw by d'Arnaud. Stolen base number 28 for Jimmy Rollins. Kind of like the aggressiveness there to try to get an extra run here. Phillies are up by 4. Maybe squeeze another one across, make it a 5-run game going into the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, he had a tremendous jump.
Sure did.
Daisuke does not hold runners on very well. He was probably about halfway there before the ball was delivered.
Yeah, whether d'Arnaud had a handle on it or not, even if he had let it go, he wouldn't have had any shot at all to get Rollins at second. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, says the third base umpire Lance Barrett. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Over to shortstop. Rollins will get to third on this one. It wasn't all that hard, and Utley's thrown out. Good decision by Jimmy Rollins. He knew where Wilmer Flores was. He knew what the tempo of that ball was. So he's over third. Ryan Howard, who has 2 RBIs tonight, will be the hitter, with a chance to drive in his 3rd run of the ball game. Mets will play the infield in. We alluded to that overshift last night between the Padres and the Dodgers. 4-man overshift. They brought Andre Ethier in from the outfield, and he was right next to. Yeah, that's where the fourth guy. That's where D. Gordon was, wasn't it? And he's the one that got the ball hit to him.
Yeah, and the shortstop was right up in here.
Mm-hmm. Third baseman was next to Gordon. Ethier was next to Adrian Gonzalez. Yep. And they had a chance for a double play if they went home. Double play home to first, but Gordon's throw to the plate was a one-hopper. It was a heck of a play. I think it was A.J. Ellis that was catching. I don't think it was Butera. The throw to first wasn't in time, but it worked. No balls, 2 strikes to Howard. Way upstairs. And we've seen shifts like that before, but not with 4 on one side.
I've never seen that before.
And we've seen 5. The Rays have 5 in the infield every once in a while, where they have a guy right up the middle.
Yep.
To left field, Dendecker on his way back. This will be deep enough to score Rollins, and Dendecker makes the catch 2 steps from the track. Rollins will cruise home. It's RBI number 3 in the ball game for Ryan Howard, and it's now a 7-2 ball game. Howard now with 84 runs batted in this season.
Nice job by Ryan to get a fastball to drive deep enough to score Jimmy Rollins and get that all-important 5th run lead. That way it's a one swing of the bat. You can't tie the game up.
Here's Marlon Byrd. And Marlon takes up high, 1-0. Good night for Rollins. Good night for Ashe, who's laughing next to Jimmy at the bat rack. Ashe has 3 hits tonight. Swing and miss, 1-1. Murph, there was a lot of laughter as Ryan Howard was going back toward the dugout and some signaling into the stands. What happened down there?
Well, he was being heckled when he was in the on deck circle about his Subway commercials, which, quite frankly, we hear all the time. So it's not exactly original.
Right, but, so does he.
Yeah, and so does he. So as he came back, jogging back into the dugout, he gave him the $5, 5-foot-long sign that he does on the commercial, and much to the delight of his teammates.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, they make fun of him all the time. Every time there's a commercial that pops on while he's in the clubhouse. There it is. Ready?
$5 foot long.
Well, play it along with the crowd. The 1-2 pitch to Bird. Up high, 2-2.
Sounds pretty good right now. $5 foot long.
Doesn't sound bad at all. You laugh a little bit, Matt, when you got a 5-run lead in the 9th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a foul ball. Bird stays alive. See, right on cue, we throw up the Subway banner. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Bird is struck out, but the Phillies tack on a run. They do so on a sacrifice fly by Ryan Howard. He has 3 RBIs in the ball game. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Phillies on top of the Mets, 7-2. Warming up out on the mound for the Phils, trying to seal the deal for them. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Phillies with 7 runs on 12 base hits here tonight. It's a nice bounce back from last night when Jacob deGrom kind of quieted their bats. And now they've responded to pick up 7 runs on 12 hits here in the second of this 3-game series. Papelbon's numbers, this is not a save situation. 2-2, a 1.60 ERA. And he will face Matt Dendecker to start it off, then Dilson Herrera and Wilmer Flores. Those are the scheduled hitters for the Mets here in the bottom of the ninth. Phillies, after tomorrow's ball game, will head to Atlanta to take on the Braves. Day game on Monday, night game Tuesday, day game Wednesday. And the last leg of this trip, as the Phils going to D.C. for the last time. Dendecker has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. 2 balls and 1 strike.
One thing about Dana DeMuth, he has not changed his strike zone in the first hitter. He hasn't called that fastball inside the left-handers all night.
I thought he did a nice job tonight, though, with Williams and Colon. Both guys that probably rely on the corners a little bit more than other pitchers. They were feeding those corners, and he was calling it. 2 balls and 1 strike. At the knees, 2-2. Dana DeMuth, who's worked 5 World Series as an umpire during his career. And Dendecker stays alive. That was an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Over to third. Cody Ashley's got it. And there's 1 out here in the 9th inning. Phillies were playing Dendecker to pull just a little bit, so Ashley was set up perfectly. So Herrera will be the batter with 1 man down. I wonder what kind of a day it will be tomorrow around Major League Baseball, because trades have to be completed by midnight tomorrow night for players to be available for potential postseason. If they've cleared waivers. Case in point, Bartolo Colon, who has already cleared waivers, can be traded anywhere. Right. But he has to be, like you, Matt, when you came over to the Phillies, you have to be with the ball club before the close of the day on the 31st to be eligible for the postseason.
It's actually been a pretty quiet August all around baseball.
I would agree with you on that.
I thought there'd be more moves or hearing more people being claimed off waivers.
Alejandro De Aza was acquired today by the Baltimore Orioles for 2 minor league prospects. Speedy outfielder. I guess it's hit or miss when it comes to these deals. De Aza's over from the Chicago White Sox. One's upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a called strike 3. 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Well, that's 6 in a row retired by the Phillies bullpen. Bastardo got the last out in the 7th. Giles worked a 1-2-3 8th inning, and now Papelbon has the first 2 outs here in this inning. And now Wilmer Flores, who singled. And his last time up drove in a run, and that 2-run 7th inning for the Mets. Inside 1-0. Now we talk about the trade deadline for players being moved so they're available for the postseason. Then the next day can be busy too, because all around baseball other prospects will be added to the expanded rosters. Phillies are no different. Not totally sure who's going to be added, but there will be players added. 2 balls and 1 strike to Flores. Ryne Sandberg said yesterday 5 or 6 players will be added. And among those 5 or 6, John Mayberry is not included in that. He's probably going to be added, but he's not included in the 5 or 6 from the minor league, even though he's been busy rehabbing.
Same with Adams.
Mike Adams is not included in that. 2-2 to Flores. Papelbon is ready to go. Over to third base. Nice hop for Kobayashi. And a good strong throw. And the Phillies have evened up this series. They've won it 7-2 over the New York Mets as Jerome Williams continues his stellar pitching since being added to the Phillies roster. He's now 3-0. Ryan Howard had 3 RBIs tonight. And the Phils will get a chance to go for the series victory tomorrow afternoon here at Citi Field. Well, it's been a pretty good run for Ryne Sandberg's team, considering what they did on the homestand, and now they're able to even up this series with a chance to win the series tomorrow afternoon. They played much better baseball tonight. They ran the bases aggressively. They also banged out 12 hits for a 7-2 victory. And our W. Mason delivery of the game, well, take a look at Marlon Byrd, who started the scoring back in the 5th inning.
Got a fastball up in the zone from Cologne and drove it to right field for his new career high 25th home run on his 37th birthday. He's going well when he's driving that ball to right field, left field, getting his foot